I'll check our volume.
I'm excited. I'm
Me
excited
too.
every time I do a podcast. I get excited.
You
Yes,
should. It's really my favorite medium because you can multitask. Like, I mean, in terms of like, what do I like to listen to? I love a podcast because I can clean. There's a lot of things that I can do while I'm listening, and
Yes.
I'm very into social justice podcasts, so that kind of fills up a lot of my time.
That's what's up. So
Are you live on the biz? You're not Positive People?
I am live on Positive People,
Okay,
the
I see it
Biz,
now.
and a couple other things.
Oh,
So
we're in stereo.
huh?
We're live in
we're
stereo.
live in stereo. Yes. So
Can people hear the background music, or am I just
people
bumping
can hear the
into, like,
background
okay.
music too. So she's testing the sound out.
Yeah, we're good.
So, good.
Testing, 1, 2,
Yes,
3. We're
welcome
good to go.
welcome to the biz. Welcome to the biz, man. Thank you for tuning in. I'm NormBeezy,
And I'm Lady T.
and we have a special guest today. There's always a special guest when they join the BIZ
That's right.
podcast, your number one podcast in the tri-state of West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky. We thank all of our listeners and our tuners in, right?
Tuners in. That's a new word.
For
Tuners
tuning in. For the audio and video. We like to thank those that have helped Positive People Association now. We like to thank Positive People Association, Stars Us Theater Troupe. We like to thank a lot of our other sponsors. Toyota, hashtag, Let's Go Places, who also brings us our Did You Knows. We like to thank the Glorious Church of God in Christ for providing us a van to pick up kids for the Positive People Association Center. We like to thank Basic Supplies. Why?
Because they provide our basic supplies.
Joe Williams at Basic Supplies. We like to thank Tudor's Biscuits on 20th Street. Mr. Michael Thomas, thank you for your support as well. We also would like to thank Stella Fuller Foundation. I do this every time.
All Here Together Productions.
All Here Together Productions for helping us with the 3-building mural project. All Here Together Productions. And our Word on the Block collaboration with them. We also would like to thank Marshall Health for helping us with our Healthy Jumpstart program. We also would like to thank Sisters for St. Joseph and the Palatine Foundation. I like to thank some of our city council people who can't advocate, but we like to thank some of our city council members who have been there to help sponsor Positive People Association, the youth, and the Fairfield West community, and beyond that community of Fairfield West, just the youth period that have participated in our podcast. We'd like to thank our youth that's been participating in our podcast, the Ball Talk, Hey Girl Hey. We'd like to thank Shanklin and Doc for their podcast, Shooting the Shit with Shank. Man, and if I miss some of you right now, charge it to the
Head and not the heart.
Thank you. And I like to thank the most beautiful co-host that a man can have.
Oh, he wants some brownie points, y'all.
Very sweet. And very true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm looking for brownie points because this weekend was filled with. It was a good weekend.
It was a very good
in
weekend.
April. It started out April showers bringing May flowers too. So the tornadoes came through, bringing a lot of rerouting of trees and rooftops.
They tore
and
up a
things
whole
that,
lot
too.
of stuff.
And praise God for those people that were saved from the storm, and bless the families that need things replaced too. Oftentimes after the storm, we don't really think about if people need to recover from things, the tragedies, things that's happened in their family life. We just continue to move on. But we went to the Garden Theater in Louisa, Kentucky, because of Marsha J. Sloan produced a movie called The Ghost of the Big Sandy. It was from a book, and it was filmed in part of West Virginia, Fort Gay, and Louisa, Kentucky. And I happened to be in it. So I happened to be
had
in
a
it.
significant part in it, too.
I was a supporting actor. Actor. And the kids, the youth, the youngins that are the lead actors are they did a good job. I want to say as kids, they did a great job. And I had a chance to meet a lot of good people, that's still acting, you know what I'm saying? Jeff Horner, Buddy, Wendy Case. There's a lot of people, and I know, they didn't mention me, you know what I'm saying? So, but I had to thank Cindy Reed for contacting me she's from Louisa, from Fort Gay. She's from Fort Gay. She contacted me and said, hey, we're shooting a movie down here. Would you mind being in it? And I was like, I don't know about this. And she stayed on me. And I was like, all right, I'll read the script and get it. And then went down there and had a great time. And met a lot of good people, Van Morales, met a lot of good people down there. John, my man down there. It was great though. But we went to a premiere this weekend.
Yeah.
So long story short.
It was a red carpet event.
Red carpet event. We got a chance
to get
dress
jazzy and snazzy in our after 5 attire. So it was fun.
Amazing. Where can we watch it? Like, is there a link? How do I?
Well, right now it was a premiere for the cast and crew, so they've entered in like 10, 12 film festivals.
Yeah.
So she's going that route. When I say she, the producer Marsha, is going that route right now. But we're going to try to figure out a way to distribute it and bring it out. So I'm actually trying to advocate for her to let me bring it to Huntington and possibly show it at the Foundry Theater or something like that. But anyway, that was pretty fun. It was fun.
That's very cool. I can be like, I knew him way back.
That's right.
All the way back to Kamak.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you guys go way back then.
Way
Yeah.
back. We go way back.
Yeah.
Way back. But
Don't do the math.
Don't do the
math
math.
at home.
So, tornadoes happened since we've been here, like we said.
Did you have any
Earthquakes.
damage?
We did. Yeah, we lost our gutters. We lost several pieces off the outside of the front of our house. And what's really interesting is I was looking out the window and I saw this big inverted triangle of a cloud coming towards the house.
Oh,
and I
wow.
thought, surely that is not a tornado because it wasn't twisting or anything. And I just assumed that it was just some other, gray thing. And my mom told me today that WSAZ was reporting that one of the trees that was down on Fifth Street Road was from a tornado. And that is right in the path of where I was taking that photo. So in fact, I
wow.
do think it was a tornado. And I'm glad at the time I didn't realize what was going on.
Yeah, no kidding. No, gosh.
I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah.
That's one of the scariest things, the thing that a thunder was coming at you. But
Yeah.
earthquakes, a couple earthquakes happened. Not only in
all that.
Taiwan, it was like I think they had like a 7.4 or something like that. And then New York,
4.7.
4.7.
I think it was 4.7 in
New
New York. In the northeastern. Yeah.
One of my friends lives in northern New Jersey, and she had posted a picture on Facebook of that she had evacuated her home during
During the earthquake,
Yeah.
which is rare for New York to have an earthquake, if ever, right?
When I was living in Manhattan about 12 years ago, there was an earthquake that hit DC, and the buildings shook, and nobody was anticipating an earthquake. But post 9/11, if you're in a high rise in Manhattan like I was, you go downstairs and out immediatly. So.
Okay. So that was pretty scary for their point of view, but again, so it's been a lot of stuff going on in the week.
And then the eclipse today.
And then the eclipse today.
Eclipse
the
today.
end
I
of
mean,
time.
it is. It's something.
What is happening?
Yeah, there's a lot been going on in the last week.
And then the eclipse today. That's amazing.
That was cool though. Did you guys?
Yeah. First I was playing like, ain't worried about seeing it. You know what I'm saying? I was just gonna be like, everybody's like, don't look up. I was like, I'm gonna be looking down praying. I'm
I'm gonna get on my knees praying to God.
I'll be praying about it. But we did get some glasses. I had a student here with me, so we had a chance to go outside at getting some community service hours for his high school, helping out up here. So we went out there anyways. So we were glad we did. We were like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty dope. So
It was really neat. I mean, we enjoyed it. We got the glasses, the certified ones, so it wouldn't have any eye damage. But my mom came over and watched it with my husband and me. And she's a retired school teacher, so of course she made a project out of it, and she brought a box that she had, punched a pinhole in.
Yeah.
And then instead of facing the sun, you actually have your back to it,
I heard
and you
that.
look through it, and you could see the eclipse
In the
on the
box.
box. It was really neat. I have some pictures. I'll show you guys.
That's what's up. And she was standing out in front of work.
Oh yeah, my coworkers and I were like, "What time are you going outside? Let's go." And so we all went out and stood with our glasses. We did not look. Some of them did put their glasses over top of their cell phones so they could take a picture.
Oh,
So that was pretty neat.
I read that can ruin the camera on your.
Yes, the lens of your
The
camera.
lens of the camera,
and then, and we weren't even in the area that was the totality of the eclipse, but it was neat to see it. I mean, just seeing it gradually get covered up. So
Yeah.
it won't happen again until 20 more years.
2045 or
2044.
2044. Something like that.
So you got 20 more years before you see another.
So I'll be rocking in my
I'll push you outside in your chair.
So yes, it is going down again, man. I can't say enough. Thank you guys for tuning to the biz. We're going to get into this intro, and then we're going to come back out and we're going to introduce our special guest, Ms. Jennifer Wheeler.
Yes.
What do you still go by?
I do. I still go by Jennifer Wheeler.
Okay, and we're
I
going
was
to talk
Wheeler
about that.
for 46 years.
And we're going to talk about that while I ask that, so y'all will be like, why do you ask her that? Why do you ask her that? But we're going to introduce our special guest, Ms. Jennifer Wheeler, and get into some Did You Know. Welcome to the biz. We're talking economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Family. It's your boy NormBeezy.
And Lady T.
Spitting straight facts. I had to give us some claps.
Oh, that's his favorite button.
I had to
You'll
give us
find
some
out.
claps.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had to give us some claps. Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. So we're going to introduce Miss Jennifer Wheeler, who is a Huntington native, 20 years of public service, and has a master's degree in leadership, and as a director of development for the Huntington Museum of Art. Jennifer manages all fundraising and development efforts. She has a decade of experience overseeing multi-million-dollar budgets and portfolios. Twice elected to the Huntington City Council, she was also elected chair. Beyond council, Jennifer has served the city on the administration and finance committees, Mayor's Council for the Arts, Neighborhood Institute of Huntington, and the Planning Commission. She's dedicated many years to board service and volunteerism for many organizations such as Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Contact, Create Huntington, Girls on the Run, Southside Alliance, Southside Neighborhood Organization, Team for West Virginia Children, Toy Train of West Virginia, and Tri-State Transit Authority, as well as the Huntington Regional Chamber of Commerce. In addition to her professional accolades, Jennifer has received multiple service awards for her community involvement. And she has been involved in the community for quite a long time. I can attest to that. Jennifer is 47 years old and married to her husband, Ben. Their blended family includes 3 kids, all students at Marshall University. Go Herd.
Go Herd.
That's right.
Oh, man, just saying go Herd. And don't get back into all her accolades. We'll mention it later on about Coach leaving and going to Tennessee. We forgot to speak about Kim Caldwell getting transferred.
yeah,
Not transferred, but anyway.
Yeah.
Back to Jennifer.
Listen, I want to do a clap because you told your age. You know, us women, we don't like to tell our age. So I am proud of you for that.
And like I said, Norm and I have been together in school since back in the Kamak days. So he already knew.
He already knew.
Blue Streaks.
That's right. That
Blue
is
Streaks
right.
that no longer exist.
And
you
Pony
know,
Express.
I was
no
going to say, you
longer
know what's
exists.
crazy about both of those nicknames?
What?
The Pony Express was the only Pony Express in the country. There's no other high school or any other school with a nickname or a mascot of the Pony Express. So, I think High
Wow.
should not be Highlanders. I should have kept that. That's original
Oh.
to the Pony Express.
Pony
And then
Express.
Blue Streaks. How many Blue Streaks do you know?
I've never heard of another.
I was gonna say there's a movie Blue Streak, but that's the only
That's
one.
the
I'm saying.
movie. That's it.
That's it.
But
Yeah.
we had original, unique nicknames in high school and in middle school. So anyway, yes, go back to the Blue Streak days.
Yeah.
So what was your mascot? Just a streak?
It was Lightning Bolt.
A
Lightning
lightning bolt
bolt.
streak? Like a
Mhm.
blue? I can see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Lightning bolt streak.
Okay.
What was
It
your?
was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know? And speaking of some did you knows,
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
Get my phone ready. So Norm B and I were talking the other night, and we got to talking about the tsunamis. So the last big tsunami that we had was in 2004, and it was in India, Indonesia, and that area. If you had to guess how many lives, number wise, how many lives were lost, we were really blown away by this number.
It was like was it 2000 ish?
Mm-mm,
No.
mm-mm. Norm, you already know this.
Man, yeah, that's why I'm not.
We
even,
were really blown away by this. I mean, it was really surprising. It was.
I mean,
It's an
it's an
estimated.
let me tell you, it's an astronomical number to
Yeah.
me. Like, you know, how many people do you think are in the tri-state of West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky?
Oh gosh, I don't know. 350,000.
What's the pop? Yeah, very
Mhm.
close. You know what I'm saying? I was saying, so what's the population in just in Huntington? It's like what, 47?
Yeah, 46,000 in Huntington. I want to say like 95,000 in Cabell County. But when you start counting like Ashland and people,
Yeah, so about
around-
350,000.
Yeah.
The number of people that
Yeah. So when they had that event, the tsunami, an estimated 230,000 persons in India, Indonesia, the Maldives, Somalia, Sri Lanka, and Thailand died during that event.
Oh.
I had no idea. No idea. I said that's a whole tri-state area,
yeah.
basically.
That's why I wanted to put that into you know what I'm saying, like just think, put that in perspective, because I was like, dang, that's a lot of
That's a lot. Well,
of
you
people.
know, and I actually had kind of a significant connection to that event in 2004. Right before that, a friend of mine and I, we were in a terrible car accident. We were hit head on by a drunk driver, and we were both terribly injured. Unfortunately, the person who hit us was actually killed. And you don't really usually hear that the sober people walked away. Usually the person who, you know, so we felt very spared, and we felt that we were meant to go on and do something more, something significant. And my friend Jenny, she went to Thailand to help rebuild the city after
all that happened.
After all that happened, and she did. So she went as a missionary, and you know, raised money and went over there for some time to try to help rebuild in schools and so I knew how significant it was, but I didn't know. Gosh, proportionately, I had no idea it was that many people.
Yeah,
that's
a lot.
It is.
All right, so we're still gonna.
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know?
So I'm on my basketball kick because we've been on a high with all the March Madness and the final games in the women's tournament, and now the men are tonight, right? Isn't that
Yes.
right? They play tonight. Okay.
Yeah, Purdue and UConn tonight.
So, did you know was Pearl Moore is among hidden figures for the most points scored in women's college basketball. She was a 5'7" guard who played at Francis Marion during a time where women's college basketball was played under the Association for Intercollegiate Athletics for Women. She scored 4,061 points and owns the all-time record in women's college basketball history, a record that is 45 years old. It's almost as old as we are. Caitlin Clark owns the record under the NCAA with 3,569 points. So
Did not know that.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of points that both of them put up in. That's a lot of points.
It is a lot of points.
That's just getting buckets.
Mm-hmm.
Bucket after bucket.
Absolutely.
lots of threes.
Yes. Yes.
And Caitlin is, you know, of course, you know, when you're good and you're on top, you gotta take it all. You gotta get the good, you gotta get the bad,
And
you
the
gotta get the
ugly.
ugly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you're gonna have people speaking like, you know, Tarasi was saying about it, like, yeah, well, welcome, wait till you get to the next level and let's see what you do. But let her enjoy the moment right now and what she has done for women's basketball and college women's basketball. You know, and it's a team sport, so people saying she can't be the best because she didn't win a national championship. Her team didn't win a national championship. You know, there's some flaws to her game, possibly in anybody's game. She's 18, 19 years old. She's got a lot of growing to do. She's got a lot more. Her ceiling is there that she can, you know, keep on going and breaking the glass ceiling and doing things that she's doing. You know, Ice Cube offered her $5 million to come play in the Big Three. basketball league that he has. So, and not that she's going to do that. Of course, she's going to probably go to the WNBA and play, obviously for some time or whatever. But anyway, she's done a lot, and
She's
you
been
know,
fun to watch.
What a bright
You know.
future she
Yeah,
has.
she's
Yeah.
been
That's
fun to watch.
amazing. I love to
I just
hear
wish she could
women
play some
succeeding.
defense a little bit more than the last game. Shot it more in the fourth. Anyway, but yeah, so that was,
I got one more.
Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know?
So on the lines again of the women's championship game. I don't know if you all watched the big. What position did she play? The 6'7".
Center.
Center. Okay,
Yeah,
center. Yeah, she was the big center.
power forward.
Yes. Camila Cardosa, the big center for
South
South Carolina. She moved to the U.S. from Brazil by herself at the age of 15. She didn't speak English and lived with her AAU coach. The 6'7" center, well, I guess I could have read on. 6'7" center became a 5-star recruit, committed to Syracuse, and transferred to South Carolina and won a title. Today, Cardosa had a career high 17 rebounds and just won another title. That's of yesterday. So I thought that was interesting. She moved here at 15
That was from Brazil.
from Brazil. Didn't speak English.
See all this ladies basketball. That is a good transition if you want to bring up.
Bring up
football.
Kim.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Segue.
Kim Caldwell going to Tennessee, and kind of knew she wasn't going to be around long. For me, my opinion, that's a big step. It's a major step. Tennessee is I don't use the word beacon. I don't even know. I'll be looking for vocabulary words, expanding my lexicon. But Tennessee is an idol in women's basketball. It is,
Pat Summit.
man.
She
You know what I'm
set
saying?
the-
And the
she set the
championships,
bar
the
high.
championships that they won in Tennessee, and the
Yeah.
players that's come through there in Tennessee. So then Pat Summit, the coach there, you know what I'm saying, one of the all-time winningest coaches, right? You know, kudos to Kim. You know what I'm saying? A West Virginia girl,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when your star is shooting across it, so you got to grab it when you
That's-
can.
that-
I mean,
yeah.
good for her. I mean, certainly it would be great to have her around. But gosh, there's nothing I love to see more than a woman succeed. So good
absolutely.
on her.
And that I think so. So wishing her the best of luck. I'm a Tennessee fan too. So
Oh, yeah. He's a Rocky Top.
good old Rocky Top. So yes, we wish her the best of luck. And I'm gonna put this out there. I don't know. I'm hoping that in our search, let's go get Whitney Bays from Memphis, assistant coach. Bring her back home to Huntington. Let's make her the next Marshall ladies head coach. But anyway,
Nice.
let's do that out there. Just say that.
Nice.
So Jennifer, let's get into this.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's
I'm
fire
ready.
away, man.
I'm
The
ready.
people are here to see Jennifer. They ain't here to listen to us keep on.
That's
going.
right.
I don't know about all that, but I certainly anytime you put a microphone in front of me, I'll go for it.
Okay.
Well, let's jump right into it. Jennifer, you are a mayoral candidate
Yeah.
running for the mayor of the city of Huntington, West Virginia.
Yes, I am.
Why did you choose to run for mayor?
Oh, okay. So I can give you the short version or the long version.
Whichever one you want to give us.
I'll go in the middle here. So, you know, years ago, before I ran for council, I was interested in an issue that was affecting my neighborhood. It was a zoning issue, and that's when I decided that I wanted to get involved and try to protect our neighborhood. And I saw some, I don't know, apathy from people who maybe were involved on some of the committees or council in general at that time. And I thought, you know, you really can't complain if you're not willing to step up and do something. So I decided to run for council, and I'm so incredibly honored to have had the opportunity to serve on council. There were a lot of things about it that were very rewarding, and sometimes it felt very frustrating to be one of 11.
Mhm.
And it became clear to me that if you really want to drive the agenda, then you have to be in the big chair. So I knew for a long time that in order to do some of the things that I felt like we needed to do, then I would have to be willing to step up and run for mayor. So that's been on my mind and heavy on my heart for quite a few years now. So now is the time. Here I am.
Now is the time. Coming off of Steve Williams, he's the first mayor that he's termed out.
Yeah.
Correct.
He's done 3 terms. You can only do 3 terms as a mayor. So once you do that, it's, you know, on to whatever your next career move is. So he's at the end of his term. And he said now is the time. and you said it already, just mentioning to us that, you know, an issue brought you to the table to join council and you wanted to make a difference. So what is your agenda? What is your plan for?
Plan. Oh gosh. So I have lots of plans, and sometimes I hear other people.
And you got to share them all, because I know you don't want to give them all away right now. You know, like
Listen,
it's a campaign trail.
I've got a website. It's been out there for a while. I mean, I filed. If you want to spend any money or raise any money, you have to file something called pre-candidacy. So even though people weren't allowed to officially file for mayor until this past January, you could file pre-candidacy at any time. So I filed a long time ago.
What's your website?
It's with WheelerWeWin.com. So over a year ago, I filed pre-candidacy. I put out a website letting people know parts of my plan. One of the things that, you know, like I mentioned, the thing that really got me into this was the neighborhoods. It's really important to me that I'm losing my ears here. What really got me into it was protecting our neighborhoods. That's where the big part of my heart lies. Making sure that we can increase the quality of life of the people in the neighborhoods. So one of the main concepts of my plan, I call it walkable illuminated neighborhoods. So that's why my website's with Wheeler We Win. That's why a lot of my materials say WIN, because I'm using that as an acronym for walkable illuminated neighborhoods.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, because, you know, we got to have the proper infrastructure. You have to invest in paving. We've got to have adequate lighting, because, you know, it's dark out there, and it's not as simple. What we can do is we can change out some of those high pressure sodium bulbs. We change those to LED. Not only are they more energy efficient and more cost effective, but they're brighter. And everybody has seen the data that a brighter neighborhood is a safer neighborhood. So that is a big step in making those, walkable and illuminated. And then, of course, in doing so, we also need to address some of the dilapidation with some of the buildings in our neighborhoods, because, you know, people sometimes would take up residence there. They can, be a fire hazard. It just brings down the neighbors if we're not caring for those. So I think some of the things that we need to do, one, we've got to improve and expand programs like Project Shine. And Shine is a housing rehabilitation program where low to moderate income families can get help doing major improvements to their homes from work camp groups and things of that nature. In terms of demolition, we've got to be aggressive about taking down the ones that can't be saved. And then, again, saving the ones that we can. And that is kind of the most exciting part of my plan, I think, is what I want to do with some of these buildings. So Huntington's economic development arm, HMDA, could buy some properties. And I'll give you a couple examples. One building that I want super bad is that it's on 20th Street. It's across the street from Bella Consignment. Used to be called Boster's Groceries. You know what? It's red brick. It's got kind of like a mint green trim around the front. Anyway, it needs some love. And if we would take the investment to purchase that building and then get grants so that we can use federal dollars to renovate those buildings, what we could then do is, once we've got it turnkey, we can meet with the neighbors, find out, what do you want in your community? And, spoiler alert, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a coffee shop or a bakery, someplace you get a little bite to eat, something that you can walk to in your neighborhood.
Serves as a social place that brings happiness, that brings a place of content for people in their neighborhood, like you said, somewhere. Something small, we can go down there, and it's kind of like a safe place for adults.
Yeah,
exactly. And so it can kind of double as a community hub. But what we would do is we would put out requests for proposal for somebody who's looking to become an entrepreneur who wants to start whatever that thing was. Let's say it's the coffee shop. And so and this is not unlike what they did at Heritage Station. You know, that's how Nomada came to be. They've got the visitor center there. They said, hey, we want somebody to put in a bakery, and they came forward. So this is sort of similar to what we would do. We would help people. And so these folks, they might either have had a barrier to re-entry to the workforce, or perhaps they just don't have the capital to start something. Because here's the thing. I mean, I know that I don't have $100,000 to buy a building and $350,000 to renovate it, to sell a $4 cup of coffee. I mean, math, that doesn't work. So if what we want in our neighborhoods is places like this, if we're just sitting around hoping that they're going to happen, they're not going to. So we have to take the initiative and do it. So we can put these programs together, help people become entrepreneurs, get them small business administration loans, help them get SBDC training so that they can be successful, and again, provide this service in the neighborhood. So then by this time, we have invested in the sidewalks and the lighting, and now you've got a place that you can walk to. You've got commerce that is happening in the neighborhood. Right. Walk a dog, walk a kid. You can move around in the neighborhood. And if, let's say we did that on 20th Street in the building that I'm talking about. Let's say we did one over here in Gallagher Village. There's one kind of across from that King Mart that's a little string of brick buildings. So one of those would be real nice too. When you make an investment, more people then will make additional investment. Because you can't be the first one hoping that somebody else will come along and do it. Yeah. But if the city, if Huntington's doing it, so what you'll have is over here on 20th, it'll be growing in both directions, towards downtown, towards Gallagher Village. That one, it'll be growing towards 20th Street. It'll be going towards Route 60. And I think we can have a model to where you could walk from Burger King on Route 60 all the way to, campus in a walkable, illuminated neighborhood. And that's how you improve the quality of life in the neighborhoods. And then big business develops from there. Because anytime that, say you've got like an Amazon or somebody like that, when they relocate in a community, they have checked it out. It's not an accident. They have checked it out to make sure that the place that they're going to go is a place that the people that work for them can be happy. They're looking for amenities to exist. They're looking for quality housing. They're looking for safe streets. Right. And so we've got to set that up so that we're appealing to larger industry coming in from out of town. But also we owe it to the people who live here in our neighborhoods to have the best quality of life that you can have. And I know growing up when we were going to Camac, so I lived over on the south side, not only could I walk from my house to school, could also walk over to Cam's Ham on First Street, in addition, and Cam's was still there. But back in the day, there used to be on the corner of First Street and 9th Avenue, it's a duplex apartment building now, but it used to be a Giovanni's Pizza. And they had ice cream. Do you remember that? You could get an ice cream cone over there. And so being able to be in your neighborhood with your friends, with your neighbors, that's really the kind of thing that makes a place special. And that's what I think makes Huntington special. I know we got back recently from visiting some family in Cleveland, and that's a great place. But I will tell you that one of the things that I said to my mom was, they can keep all these subdivisions. All the houses looked the same. There was no character.
There's no character to any of that stuff right there.
Exactly. Let's preserve our neighborhood.
So you twofold and asked me, and that's your plan. Let's preserve our neighborhood. You asked answered a couple of the questions. We always say that same thing. Like, that was hold on, slow down, Jennifer. Slow down, Jennifer. A couple more of those things to do here. But no, that's what the people want to know. Like, the things that you sat on city council, so you've been in all most of the terms with Steve, with the mayor, and everything. So what's been already going on with his agenda and things that's changed in Huntington, or the progress, or probably the we say digress and progress, digress, both. What do you think you would want to continue along with his plan, and what do you think? And we got to get away from that.
Well, I think that I wouldn't say that my plans don't align with what's been, but I would say they're different with, like, in terms of priorities. I think that it has been wonderful to see some of the areas of town receive some attention through, like, when we won America's Best Communities, and they had the HIP plan that was focused on several areas in particular. You've got Highland, you've got Fairfield, you've got Central City. I think that has been wonderful. I think we can expand on that, and then I think we've got to move out from just those neighborhoods. It's got to be citywide, and it's got to be little pockets in each neighborhood so that they can all grow. And I think in terms of you had talked about, when we spoke before about resources, and how did I think that,
balancing, having how, because there's many neighborhoods. The mayor of Huntington is your responsibility. Your role is to be able to balance between the multiple different neighborhoods pulling for something. Our neighborhood needs this. Our neighborhood needs that. How are you going to be able to, and do you think, and what is your plan to balance and ensure for economic resources to the different districts?
So all the neighborhoods need attention, but everybody doesn't always need the exact same thing. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this drawing, or I guess slide you could call it. It's the difference between equitable and equality. And so if it's equal, that means, like, so I'm 5'2", my husband's 6'4". It is equal if you give us both a bicycle. You give us the same bicycle. Right. That's equal. I cannot say that I did not get the bicycle he got the bicycle I got. But it's one of us is not going to be riding that very well. Either it's not going to fit either of us, exactly. Or one it's going to fit one of us poorly, right? Exactly. So the example in sociology books and things of that nature is, you can give me a bicycle that is made for people who are 5'2". If my husband had a disability and was in a wheelchair, you could give him a bicycle that maybe had hand pedals, or it was more of a seated bicycle. Everybody doesn't have to get the same bicycle. I mean, we've got to make sure
you have to make accommodations.
I knew there was an example that we was using for a presentation in slide 2, equitable and equal. Was watching a baseball game, and everybody was standing at the fence, and everybody was standing at the fence. And everybody had a box, but the taller person could look over the fence, and the shorter person was like couldn't see over the fence, right? But equitable was the box was made tall enough for the shorter person to look over the fence as well. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those examples.
Yeah. So my box would be taller than Ben's box.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because,
we both get a box.
That's right.
Yeah. Your box. Yeah. So
that's a better slide.
That was another. Well, no, it's the same thing, because the pedals on the bicycle you have to be. You know what I'm saying? You see the legs is. If you get a bike for somebody 6'2", it's either going to be he can't sit down on it, his knees is going to be up in his chest, or you're going to sit down and your legs and your feet ain't going to be able to reach the pedals.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So so no, it's a good example.
Well, and I mean, I can give you a real world example of, we've got a paving opportunity in Huntington. There's a project where you can sign up to have your sidewalk paved, and if you will pay for the materials, the city will provide the labor. And it's great. It was a pilot program years ago, and there are so many things that the city's got to look after. I understand they can't be out paving sidewalks all the time.
Sure.
But so what they did was they would make the determination, okay, well, so each council person can, can keep a list, and you get five places in your district that need sidewalks. Well, here's the thing. I mean, there are certain neighborhoods that have a tougher time with sidewalks, like the sidewalk, the neighborhoods that are real heavy on trees, like South Side, for instance. Gosh, a lot of those sidewalks are pretty torn up from the intrusion of the tree roots. But then there are other neighborhoods, like my mom's neighborhood, for instance. They don't have, or even like the Crossroads neighborhood. There are lots of places that they don't have sidewalks. Period. And so the sidewalk, they'll put in. They'll repair sidewalks that are in need of attention, but they are not putting in sidewalks where there aren't any that already exist. So, it would be, I guess, equal if we did 5 sidewalks in everybody's district, but it would be equitable if we did, more sidewalks in this neighborhood that had the root intrusion, and over in this neighborhood, we, put sidewalks where there weren't.
Or is this grass or something? Yeah.
Right. So I think that, in terms of the resources, we just have to really take great care to make sure that everyone is getting serviced.
Equitable service. Okay, thank you for that answer. That was, what do you? I know you're looking at me because I know you're ready to jump in.
No, you're
and
fine.
fire away
You're
too.
fine.
So I don't
You're
want to be
fine.
like hogging all the questions.
No, you're okay.
Asking because you look at it like, you know what I'm saying. So I mean, that was one of the questions. Definitely, how do you insure the insurance? But let's talk also. It is political season. It's politic time. This is where people are, putting the signs down. There's a
Making commercials.
Making commercials. There's
Doing
the
podcasts.
Yes, on podcasts. Yeah.
there's the Meet the Candidates coming up. April 18th.
I think it's the 16th.
April 16th at the 80 Lewis Community Center, which
time is
which
that?
is pretty big.
What time? 6:30.
6:30?
I feel like it's
Yeah.
6:30.
Okay.
I believe, yeah. So right out here at the 80 Lewis Community Center, off of Halgary Boulevard, Meet the Candidates. So anyway, it's political time. It's politicking. Everybody's doing the politic thing. So how much are you going to be available after the campaign to people? How much access will people have to Jennifer Wheeler if the campaign is over? And she's saying, what are you saying? You're going to give them this, you can give them that. And then after it's all said and done, you get busy, but how much accessibility will people be able to come and say, hey, Jennifer?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think that
Miss Wheeler?
by and large, people.
Mayor Wheeler.
Yes, please. So I think that by and large, people would agree that I've always been accessible when I was on council. My cell phone number, my personal cell phone number, was published on the city's website. I've got business cards that I've been passing out. My cell phone number is on it. I take a call. I take a text. I've always been accessible. I would continue to be accessible. I think that's very important. One of the things that I would want to do in terms of accessibility is I would want to make sure that the staff at City Hall was equally accessible, because there's going to be a lot of things that are going to demand the attention of the mayor, and I will absolutely talk to people about their problems. In fact, I'd want to have I don't know, I'm a big fan of alliteration, so maybe it'd be Wednesdays with Wheeler or Mayor Mondays or something. But I would like to have a day of the week where we opened up City Hall in the council chambers, and maybe it's like, maybe it's the morning or maybe it's the afternoon. I'd like to have a block of time where you don't have to have an appointment. You just show up, first come, first serve, 10-minute, intervals, where people could talk about what's on their mind. I want to be able to stay in touch with the needs of the community. I think that's why I've been able to be effective to this point, because people have always known how to get in touch with me, and sometimes that's a hard feeling, because you can tweet at me, and you can send me a a message on Facebook or a text. And so people have lots of ways of reaching out in 2024. You can, there's really never a time that you're off duty per se. But I do want to stay involved. I do want to stay. There's something called the Neighborhood Institute of Huntington, and in fact, I was there before I was here this evening. The Neighborhood Institute is basically the presidents of all the neighborhood organizations, and they come together once a month. And so I plan to regularly attend Neighborhood Institute. We've got so many wonderful neighborhoods, but there's like 10 or 12 of them, and they all meet on a different night.
Right.
And so, you know, with the business of running the city and the business of running a household, I imagine that it will be complicated to continue going to all of them. I've been doing it during this election cycle.
You were saying you know, that was another thing I was going to ask about your staffing, about, you know, of course you have your city council members, but you also have your staffing. You know, you plan to build a solid staff to some people that can help take some of that off of you, right? Because that's what the staff is for.
So we have a really competent staff at City Hall. I think that there's a bunch of brilliant people over there, and I think that, you know, everybody who is working there can continue working at City Hall if they are, you know, pro helping Huntington. And so I think there may be areas where we can restructure some job duties, because I think there are some things that we can do better to support citizens. Like right now, there's not a dedicated grant writer. So I think they have an agency on retainer that does grants, but there's not a person whose full-time job it is to write grants. And as far as I'm concerned, I want 2 to 3 people spending there all day, every day, getting us every dollar that's out there. I'm not about leaving anything on the table. I mean, if there is money out there that we can use for our people that will put money back in their pockets, or what we can better use your tax dollars because we have got other ways for those dollars to come in. Let's do that. Let's take all the free money that we can get so that we can make things better for the people who live here.
So people want to know about the issues, economic development. What's you know, whether we win, what's our plan for the economic development in Huntington, West Virginia? You mentioned some things, building back, but bringing businesses in and attracting businesses and stuff. But what do we do as a city of Huntington, who's always seeming poor sometimes to some neighbors? Like, man, how we ain't got no money, you know what I'm saying? But but then there's a lot of money here and there. But what's the plan for economic sustainability and development for the city of Huntington?
Well, we have to have high paying jobs. We have to have jobs that are paying well, and in order to do that, we've got to build the foundation for a city that makes businesses want to locate here. So like I said before, it's creating those strong neighborhoods. You know, it's making sure that we're appealing to people who can come here to do business. And of course, there's going to be partnerships with existing businesses, helping them grow and expand. And then of course, I would be remiss if we didn't, you know, mention partnerships with Marshall, because they definitely have the opportunity to help us leverage some of the opportunities we have. I will tell you something else that, from my perspective about economic development, is we really need to be considering tourism, and particularly sports tourism. A constituent brought a plan to me that I thought was amazing. And it was suggesting this large set of fields for travel ball, and actually they were proposing to have it over on ACNF, which is right next to, you know, other sports fields anyway. So it would be a good opportunity to kind of smooth that transition on 3rd Avenue. But these travel fields, people are spending all kinds of money for their kids that are in travel ball. I mean,
it's expensive,
right? I mean, the games are expensive. That you got to stay in a hotel. You've got to eat in the place
definitely boosts your local economy for
Right.
a weekend or 2 or 3. Yes.
Well, and with our climate,
I mean, you know,
we could 35 weeks out of the year, we could have people on those fields. And we're not going to get rich trading money back and forth with each other. It's got to be money coming in from the outside.
right.
So we've got to bring in money from the outside.
Mhm.
And so I think that in that regard, if we capitalize on bringing visitors, that is going to help us. And we're halfway between New York City and St. Louis, Missouri.
Mhm.
Any half of the country can drive here inside a day. So we can be a destination. You know, we're very close to skiing. We're very close to whitewater rafting. And we've got a lot of great things here. You know, over at Heritage Farm, they're working on some cool activities, like
yeah.
an indoor ski
Mhm.
thing. You know,
They are.
I want to also bring up the, and I know it's not in there, so sorry, but I also want to bring up the city of Huntington is like 92% Caucasian white and 7.1% African American according to the 2020 census. And then there's a 0.5 of other ethnicities, other cultures and races. There's not a lot of black businesses downtown in Huntington, other than I know there's a few down there. You know, I know Mammoth's is down there, Mary J. Crawford.
she's doing great.
She's
What
doing
a
great down
great
there,
place
so
that is.
I want to mention that too. Yeah, and give her a shout out. But there's not a lot other than that too, or even social places that the African Americans that visit the city or come back home to the city, or have a place to attend necessarily. I don't say and stuff shouldn't be segregated, so I don't want to make it sound like things are segregated. But anyway, you get my drift. You get where I'm coming from.
Absolutely.
How do we attract more black businesses?
Yeah.
So I think we have to be deliberate in our intention, because just like I was saying with the coffee shop, like the coffee shop's not just going to happen. We got to go out and we got to make it happen. And I will share with you some feedback that I received from a trusted friend recently, and she sent me a message on Facebook, and she said, I've been looking at your posts. I've been enjoying seeing you go to all these events. There's been a lot of events. And she said, I enjoy seeing the pictures. She said, but I want to point out to you that I have noticed that there are not as many people of color in, in the pictures. And so as I was talking through this with her, I recognized she's right. And it isn't that there aren't any times that I have the opportunity to be with friends of color, but when I go to these events, pictures are being taken, and I'm posting the pictures that were taken. And what it says to me is that there were not as many people of color in attendance. And why is that? It's not that, they're not closed events. But are we doing enough to make sure that we are reaching out to everyone? Being truly deliberate in saying, I want to make sure that that your community knows that this event is taking place.
And it's open, and you should be welcome.
And that you
welcome.
should come to this, And I think we have to do a better job of being deliberate and making sure that everybody is being intentionally invited. We can't just say, here's the table, anybody's welcome at it. We've got to go out and we've got to make a better effort to say, please come sit at this table. Not just like, here's the table anybody wants to sit at. Let's go out and say, please come to the table.
Okay.
Okay. I
Okay.
don't know if that was the right way.
No,
to say
no.
it,
I mean,
but
that's why.
that's how it felt.
Just trying to
makes
see,
sense.
and speak how you feel. And with that said, I know I keep looking back over here at my time too, because I don't want to
Everybody's trying to watch the basketball game. Let's not
with
keep
the
them
time
too
too, that part too. But no, but this was something we wanted to bring the candidates in we are grateful that you
Yes.
guys are attending the BIZ podcast and that you're
Right.
Thank you.
coming in with us and taking the opportunity and time to come in and podcast with us. You know what I'm saying? We really do. We're grateful for all the candidates that wants to come in and be a part of this. So we're trying to reach out to all of you all. So you are a Democrat.
Yes, I am.
And I'm just saying, I want people to know that we didn't necessarily say that at the thing. So you're a Democrat, and you're running on that ticket, and of course, why? Let us know now. I know. Also, do you have a social tag? This is the time right now. I want you to spit out. Hey, I'm Jennifer Wheeler. Vote for me. Whatever. This is where you can locate me. Go ahead and do that, and then tell the people why you should be the mayor. Why should you be the mayor?
Okay. All right. So you can find me in a number of ways. I've already shared with you the website. I'll share that again. It's with WheelerWeWin.com. I have a Facebook page. It's Jennifer Wheeler for Mayor. And my contact information is pretty available on the internet. So at any rate, that's how you can reach out to me. I try to use some hashtags. I'm not always completely faithful about using them all the time, but I usually use with Wheeler We Win. I usually use Wheeler Mayor, and I frequently use my slogan, which is, it's not political, it's personal. And it is highly personal for me. And I guess if that's the question, why should you vote for me? It's because it is incredibly personal. I'll say something that I probably shouldn't say, and that's that I don't know that I really want to be mayor, but in order to do what I need to do, I have to be mayor. Yeah, I've got a job. I've got attention and friends. I don't need for half the city to be mad at me because they woke up and it's Tuesday. But the reward is to be able to make our community better. It's to be able to preserve our neighborhoods and to improve the quality of life for the people that are in them. And so for that reason, I say it's not political. It's not about, I'm not the political candidate. I'm not about partisan politics. I'm about making it better. It's personal. And that's why you should vote for me on May 14th. We also have, early voting that starts on May 1st, but I'm running as a Democrat in that first primary. If you are an independent, you can actually request a Democrat or a Republican ballot. So I would ask that you request a Democrat ballot so that you can vote Wheeler Mayor. And thank y'all so
Great
much for having
response.
me. This is really, I appreciate the opportunity.
No, I just like the clap button, right?
You do.
I like it too.
Yeah.
So that, and other than, I know you have you're running your campaign, you have your busy schedule. This was just, like I said, a show to introduce the candidates to some people. We hope that our viewers and our listeners get a chance to find out who is running for offices, the different offices in the city. And then we'd love for you to come back.
I would love to come
Absolutely.
back.
You know what I'm saying? And seriously, like, come back, and as things, progress and see where we are in our city. And possibly we may have some of our kids here
To ask some questions and get involved.
stuff to get involved in the civic change and civic development.
I would love that. I mean,
part of
I
what we're
think
trying to do,
that's ask questions, but and make people answer what is important to you. Pay attention and go to forums and this is a great opportunity for the kids to really be engaged. I'll come back anytime. I'll answer
Great.
anything you like.
So, Lady T, you got anything else that we need?
No, I just always say no vote, no voice. So be informed.
No vote, no voice.
That's right.
So that was one of the other things too. Like, what advice? That's why I asked her if she had anything to say. What advice would you tell someone to register to vote or get involved in politics, Jennifer? What would you tell them?
Yeah, that's like we were saying. Ask questions, pay attention, attend the candidate forums. volunteer. You know, the city has all kinds of committees that you can serve on, and you just need to let somebody over at City Hall know that you're interested. And I think that there are ways that you can start being involved and going to these meetings, and if you don't like what you hear, then step up and change
right.
it.
That's right.
Right.
So speaking of that, if not you, who? That would be my question.
Have you ever seen Brewster's Millions?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Monty Brewster. Then none of the above. I'm only close friends.
There you go. There you
None
go.
of the above.
None of the above. That's funny.
That's a question.
Good answer, yeah.
Not you.
Yeah.
Good question. And then again, to everybody, you know, I know time we keep it there. We're at our hour mark. We thank you for tuning in, listening to the BIZ. I'm NormBeezy.
And I'm Lady T.
And don't forget to tune in again as we bring in more people into our show. So I can't say enough, but thank you guys. Thank all of our sponsors
Thank
and
you.
everybody else that's been there. Thank
Thank
to our
you.
special guest, Ms. Jennifer Wheeler again.
Thank you.
What is your married name?
My husband's name is Newhouse. Ben
Newhouse.
Newhouse.
Okay.
And like I said, I was 46 before I ever got married, so I got pretty used to Wheeler.
I understand.
And I'm gonna keep it.
And we get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you know, and that's what I'm saying, the type of field that you're in.
That's right.
People, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? You know, like,
They know you by Will.
yeah, they know you about Will.
Well, and
Well, Ben, I know you like, yeah, she better. You know,
I'm
thank you,
incredibly
baby. I love you.
proud of Ben and his name too. He he's very interested in community development. In fact, he used to work for the city, and so he used to run Project Shine. He's the one who actually brought it here
Okay.
in the first place from Hurricane. So he's been through the neighborhoods, helping people, going door to door, and trying to improve their properties. So I would take his name. I'm just awful fond of this one.
No, I understand. I understand.
You can put the hashtag, you know what I'm saying, New House after everything. You
The
know
little
what I'm
dash
saying?
in
So,
between,
the
yeah,
dash,
the dash in
hashtag,
between,
the
yeah.
dash. The dash.
Right.
Again, thank you all for listening.
Word on the block.
That's word on the block then.
Word on the block.
Thanks for tuning in to the Biz. That's the BIZ with your boy Norm B.
And Lady T.
You can also check us out on the biz.buttsprout.com for more episodes. And we look forward to hearing from you and seeing you on the next one.
On the next one. On the next one.